Daniel Cole spent his whole life chasing money. Day and night he worked without rest. He missed birthdays, ignored phone calls, and forgot the people who loved him most. But behind Daniel's success, there was a secret he tried very hard to forget. Then one day, a young man walked into his office holding an old photograph in his hand, a photograph that shattered everything with just one word: Dad. Daniel froze, because the family he abandoned hadn't just returned, they had come back with a truth that would change his life forever. Every empire has a beginning, and every mistake has a starting point. Before the glass towers and the private jets, there was a small, cold apartment on the edge of the city. Daniel Cole wasn't a king then. He was a dreamer with empty pockets. He lived with his wife, Grace, and their 5-year-old son, Michael. Grace was the kind of woman who could find light in a blackout. When Daniel's first business failed, she didn't cry. Instead, she took off her engagement ring, the only thing her mother had left her, and placed it in Daniel's hand. "Sell it," she whispered. "I believe in you more than I believe in gold." Daniel promised her that one day she would have 100 rings. He promised Michael that they would live in a house with a garden so big they could get lost in it. But as the first few sparks of success arrived, Daniel's heart began to change. He started staying at the office until 2 a.m. He began to see his family not as his reason for working, but as a distraction from it. One evening, little Michael sat by the door for 4 hours wearing a plastic crown. It was his 6th birthday. Grace had cooked a small chicken, and a single candle flickered on a cupcake. Michael refused to eat. "Dad said he'd be home to see me be king," Michael whispered.
Before we continue, please like this video and subscribe. Also, tell us in the comments, where are you watching from today? New York, London, maybe anywhere in the world. We'd love to know. At that same moment, Daniel was in a steakhouse across town, laughing with investors. His phone buzzed in his pocket, Grace calling for the 10th time. He looked at the screen, felt a pang of guilt, and then flipped the phone face down. Just one more deal, he told himself. Then I'll have time for them. As Daniel toasted to his first million that night, he didn't realize he had just signed away the only thing money couldn't buy. 10 years later, the small apartment was gone, replaced by a mansion that felt more like a museum than a home. Daniel was now the money king, but inside the mansion, the walls were thick and cold. Grace tried one last time. It was their 15th wedding anniversary. She had decorated the dining room herself, hoping to find the man she fell in love with. When Daniel finally walked through the door, 2 hours late, he was barking orders into a Bluetooth headset. He didn't see the candles. He didn't see Grace's dress. He walked straight to his study. "Daniel, look at me," Grace pleaded, standing in the doorway. He didn't look up from his laptop. "Grace, I'm closing a merger in Tokyo. Do you have any idea how much is at stake? Go to sleep. Buy yourself something nice tomorrow." "I don't want something nice," she said, her voice trembling. "I want the man who used to dance with me in the kitchen when we were poor. Michael is 15, Daniel. He calls you the man in the suit." A month later, Daniel was featured on a major magazine. The headline read, "The Man Who Has Everything." That same night, he returned home to find the mansion eerily quiet. He walked into the master bedroom. Grace's jewelry was still on the dresser, including the 100 rings he had bought her, but her clothes were gone. Michael's room was empty. Daniel looked at his reflection in the window and realized he was finally the king of his castle, but the castle was completely empty. For the first few months, Daniel's pride kept him warm. "They'll be back," he told his reflection. "Where can they go? She'll realize how hard the real world is." But weeks turned into months, and months into years. Daniel hired private investigators, but Grace didn't want to be found. She had disappeared into the heartbeat of a different city, taking a simple job and changing her name. Daniel poured his pain into his work. He became more ruthless. He bought 3 more companies. But every time he stood at the top of his tallest skyscraper, looking down at the world, he felt a crushing sense of vertigo. He had achieved the dream, but it felt like a nightmare. He started keeping the television on in every room, just to hear the sound of human voices. One night, he found the old World's Best Dad keychain Michael had given him years ago. It was scratched and cheap. He held it in his hand and wept for the first time in 20 years. He was sitting on a throne made of ice, and the sun of his consequences was finally starting to rise. The rainy afternoon. Daniel is 60 years old now.
He is staring out at the rain when a young man walks in. He isn't wearing a suit. He's wearing a simple jacket and work boots. He has Daniel's jawline and Grace's kind eyes. "My name is Michael," the young man says. Daniel moves toward him, his hands shaking. "Michael, I've searched for you for years. I have so much to give you. I have trust funds, the company. It's all yours." Michael doesn't move. He doesn't smile. "I didn't come here for the company, Daniel. I came to tell you that the woman you broke is finally at peace." Daniel's world stops. "Grace? Where is she?" "You're a year too late," Michael says softly. "She passed away last winter. She was happy, Daniel, truly happy, because she was surrounded by people who actually showed up." Michael reached into his pocket and pulled out the one thing that would prove Daniel's billions were worthless. Michael places a photograph on the desk. It's Grace, older now, sitting on a porch with Michael and a small girl. "She left you a letter," Michael says. Daniel opens it with trembling fingers. "Daniel," it read, "I don't hate you. I forgive you. I realized long ago that you weren't a bad man. You were just a small man who thought big things would make him whole. You spent your life building a wall of gold around your heart, thinking it would keep you safe, but all it did was keep you alone." Daniel collapses into his leather chair. "I can fix this," he sobs. "I'll give you everything, Michael. I'll make you the CEO." Michael looks him dead in the eye. "My daughter has everything she wants. She has a father who comes home at 5 p.m. She has a father who plays with her in the dirt. Your money can't buy my time, Daniel, and it can't buy her love." As the door clicked shut, Daniel realized that his empire was nothing more than a very expensive tomb. The transformation of Daniel Cole was total. He stepped down from his companies. He sold the mansion and the cars. He bought a small house near the library where Grace used to work. He started a foundation, but he spent his mornings teaching business skills to young fathers in underprivileged neighborhoods. He spent his afternoons sitting in the park watching families play. It took 2 years before Michael called him. It wasn't for money. It was to ask if he wanted to see his daughter's school play. Daniel arrived an hour early. He sat in the front row. When the little girl came on stage, Daniel didn't see an heir. He saw a miracle. He finally understood that the true measure of a man's wealth is not what he has in his bank, but who is standing by his bed when the lights grow dim. But remember this, no one on their deathbed ever said, "I wish I spent more time at the office." They wish they had one more hug, one more laugh. Build your empire, but build your home first. Because in the end, if you lose your family while chasing the world, you haven't won anything at all.
I hope you enjoyed watching this story as much as I enjoyed creating it. Like, share, and comment on the lessons you've learned. Let me know where you're watching from in the comments below. See you in my next video.